It was 2:13 a.m. when I sent the message. I didn't even realize I had sent it to the wrong number. My son had been crying for almost an hour. Not the kind of crying you can ignore, the kind that comes from real hunger, the kind that makes your chest tighten because you know exactly what he needs. And you don't have it. I checked the baby formula container again. Empty. I had already stretched it as far as I could. A little extra water, smaller feedings, hoping my next paycheck would come before this moment arrived. It didn't. My phone screen was cracked, but it still worked. I opened my messages and typed quickly. Please, can you send me $20? I'll return it next week. I just need to buy formula for my baby. I sent it. Then I froze. That wasn't the right contact. I stared at the number. Unknown. My heart sank. I had meant to send it to my cousin. Instead, I had just sent a desperate message to a stranger. I quickly typed another message. Sorry, wrong number. I almost threw my phone aside. Shame hit harder than anything. Asking for help was already difficult. Asking the wrong person? That felt worse. My son cried again. I picked him up, holding him close, whispering soft words that didn't fix anything. 5 minutes passed. Then my phone buzzed. I hesitated before opening it. Unknown number. Are you safe? I blinked. That wasn't what I expected. I typed slowly. Yes, just having a hard night. 3 dots appeared. Then another message came. Do you still need the formula? I stared at the screen. Was this real? I didn't want to seem desperate again. But my son's crying answered for me. Yes, I replied. There was a pause. Then, send me your location. My heart started beating faster. Every warning I had ever heard about strangers came rushing back. But then I looked down at my son. Hungry, tired, depending on me. I sent the location. 10 minutes passed. 15. I started thinking maybe it was a mistake. Maybe they changed their mind. Then headlights appeared outside my small apartment window. A black car. Too expensive for this neighborhood. I froze. A man stepped out. Tall. Well-dressed. Not someone you expect to see at 2:30 in the morning in a place like this. My phone buzzed again. I'm outside. My hands shook slightly as I walked to the door. For a second, I almost didn't open it. Then I did. The man stood there holding a bag. Not just one can of formula. Several. Along with diapers, wipes, and a small envelope. I didn't know what brand you needed. He said simply. His voice was calm. Not proud. Not dramatic. Just normal. I took the bag, slowly. Thank you, I whispered. He nodded once. Feed your baby first, he said. No questions. No judgment. He turned and walked back toward his car. I stood there, confused, grateful, overwhelmed. Wait, I called out. He paused. Why are you helping me? He looked at me for a moment, then said something simple. Because someone once helped my mother the same way. And just like that, he got into his car and drove away. I closed the door slowly. My hands were still shaking. When I looked inside the envelope, I realized this wasn't just help. It was something much bigger, because inside wasn't $20. It was a check, and the name signed at the bottom was someone I had definitely heard of before. I didn't open the envelope right away. For a few minutes, nothing else mattered except feeding my son. I mixed the formula with shaking hands, double-checking the measurements like it was something fragile, something I couldn't afford to get wrong. The crying stopped almost instantly. That silence, it felt heavier than the noise. Relief hit me all at once. Only then did I sit down at the small kitchen table and look at the envelope again. It was plain. No logo, no company name, just my name written neatly across the front. I opened it slowly. Inside was a check. I stared at the number for a few seconds before it made sense. $10,000. My breath caught. That wasn't help. That was life-changing. My eyes moved down to the signature, and that's when my hands started shaking again. Because I knew the name. Not personally, but from the news, from business articles, from interviews I had watched late at night while rocking my baby to sleep. A billionaire, someone who owned companies, investments, real estate, someone who had no reason to be standing outside my apartment at 2:30 a.m. And yet he had been. I looked back at the door like he might still be there, but the street was empty. The next morning, I half expected it to feel like a dream. But the formula was real, the diapers were real, and the check was still sitting on my table. I didn't rush to cash it. That might sound strange, but something about the whole situation didn't feel like a transaction. It felt intentional. So instead, I did something simple. I sent a message. Thank you. I don't even know how to say it properly. Hours passed. No reply. I figured that was it. A random act of kindness from someone who didn't expect anything back. But around noon, my phone buzzed. You don't need to say anything. Just take care of your son. I read the message twice. Then I typed again. I will. But why $10,000? This time, the reply came a little slower. Because $20 fixes tonight. $10,000 gives you time. I sat there, staring at those words. Time. That was exactly what I didn't have before. Time to breathe. Time to think. Time to plan something better. Over the next few days, I used that time carefully. I paid off overdue rent, bought enough baby supplies to last months. And for the first time since my son was born, I slept without waking up in panic. But something stayed in my mind. The way he had shown up. No hesitation. No questions. Just help. A week later, I sent one more message. Can I return this someday? There was a longer pause this time. Then the reply came. Yes. I smiled slightly. How? I asked. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, the message came through. Help someone who can't help you back. I leaned back in my chair, reading that line again. It wasn't advice. It was a condition. And suddenly, the whole situation made sense. This wasn't about charity. It wasn't about feeling generous. It was about continuing something. A chain. The same way someone had once helped his mother. Now, he had helped me. And one day, I would help someone else. I looked over at my son, sleeping peacefully. For the first time in a long time, the future didn't feel like something to fear. It felt like something I could build. And somewhere in the city, the man who had changed everything for us in a single night had already moved on like it was nothing. But I hadn't, because I knew one thing clearly now. That message I sent by mistake wasn't a mistake at all.